Hello. So I love building builds in Diablo 3 that has a lot of damage and just kind of tweaking the numbers here and there. The survival part is fun. With this build you can just wear Aries band and gold wrap, but that kind of gets boring and fast, so now I just wanted some more offensive stats for this Fireflash standard build. So I'm using chain reaction, frozen mist, but then I'm not using the shield. Conduit is kinda needed. You could go with that Conduit if you have a really high DPS group, but I feel like Conduit gives me a bit of arcane power that's really needed later on for when I'm not hitting the big packs and stuff like that. When I'm kinda just teleporting around a lot, then I run out of arcane power, so Conduit is kinda needed. Scramble. I actually started to dislike Scramble. You could go with even, well, I would go as far as saying maybe force armor or familiar, but for the build I can use scramble for now. Then I'm using black hole massive. I don't even want to have a, what can you say, what's it called, a primary skill. I'm just going to have all these secondary ones here, and black hole massive is just so much damage. It's really nice, also because I'm using the bracers for it. Then I'm just using the standard kinda, what can you say, abilities here, passives. Now I'm using glass cannon instead of elemental exposure just because I believe in getting instant damage faster than the stacks up. I kinda just like to know that when I'm hitting the mobs I'm getting damage right away rather than waiting on the stacks to go up. Kinda just feels better, and I can live without the toughness being lower, that's okay. And lastly, just Calamity. Now I'm having a pretty good Wanderwo. You should get this one with cooldown reduction on it, just cause it helps so much. I currently have, let's see, I think it was, 54.4. Now without the cooldown reduction I go below 50, so it really helps a lot having cooldown reduction on your Wanderwo. Mine is not the best roll, but it's okay. Arcane damage, that's okay as well for the mental exposure, but mostly I don't like the explosive blast roll I have on this one. Then I'm just using the free parts, Firebirds. Now I have both cooldown reduction and explosive blast on my shoeless, which you should also really get. That's just the best way to go. The optimal offhand would be without vitality on it, and then explosive blast instead of vitality, or even cooldown reduction. That would be amazing if you could get such a roll, cause I really believe that you could easily survive with 700k health, speed rifting. But yeah, trying to get an ancient with both crit and cooldown reduction or explosive blast is really hard. But yeah, that's the dream roll right there. And then I'm just using these standard Talrasha pieces. You have to wear both gloves, chest and amulet. And then I went with Talrasha's belt instead of gold wrap, so that I can use Lyric's crown to get even more cooldown reduction. I can't stress how good cooldown reduction is for this build, it's just really needed. Even if you're using in Golem, more cooldown reduction is just awesome. Then I'm using focus and restraint, some pretty decent rolled ones. They're not the worst ones, so it does give a lot of damage having two good rolled rings here. And I think that's pretty much it for the gear. Oh yeah, and I'm also using strong gun. You should definitely try to get them as high as you can on the knockback damage. Mine is pretty okay, but it's not the best, but still, yeah, definitely aim for that, so you'll get even more damage from your black hole. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Well, I could also quickly showcase the cube. Ingame and Reaper's Wraps. Reaper's Wraps could be whatever. I just really like Reaper's Wraps, cause after an elite pack, that is the moment when the health globes are gonna drop, and that is also the moment you really just want to be spamming abilities really fast. And then it's nice just starting, full arcane power right after the Ingame is up. And yeah, that's kind of my reason behind it, but you could go with so many other choices. You could even just go with gold wrap if you wanted that, or Köln's buff belt, or well, the choice here is endless, but I just really like Reaper's Wrath because you get that nice arcane power right after you kill an elite pack. Oh, and I should also go about my Merc real fast. I really like maxing my Merc. A lot of people don't do this because they kind of just, well, don't care for it, but I'd like to max my Merc, and I believe I have some really perfect rolls by now. A cooldown reduction and block chance, freeze of deflection. That is the dream roll right here. It just needs strength, and then it's pretty much perfect. It needs 1.5 freeze attack as well. But yeah, cooldown reduction and block on your shield with strength. That is the dream roll. Then I'm using a good old Oculus ring. This one is pre-patch, so it's kind of nerfed. You know, it's not the best damage buff, but chance to create an area focus, blah 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 blah. It doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, this ring is only for attack speed, pretty much. So yeah, 16 attack speed. I think it's the max as well. Yeah, 16 is the max. Then I'm using a cooldown reduction, crit, and attack speed, Essence of Johan. The dream roll here would be strength, attack speed, 10 crit, and 10 cooldown reduction. But yeah, or 8 cooldown reduction even, but still, it's pretty decent, this one. I'm quite happy with that one. And then I'm using a Bulkatar's Wedding Band. The dream roll again would be attack speed, critical, cooldown, and strength. It doesn't really matter that much, but basically this one just also needs attack speed and cooldown reduction. And the same for this one, dream roll as well. If it had strength, cooldown reduction is really good, and the attack speed. And then of course a die, crit, and chance to block relic. And that's pretty much it. So let's see just how fast this can go. And now again, you could go with something else than scramble. I basically don't really need it myself, but I kinda just like to be able to proc tell the Erased Meteors a bit more consistent for when Black Hole is not up, because Black Hole has 12-second cooldown, and that's kinda a lot waiting for the Meteor to proc. And now again, use the numlock kind of things. Now you see that the abilities are going off, and now I can pretty much just play with one hand, and yeah, it's pretty relaxed.
Not ready yet.
But if you play with numlock, you're of course going to be spending quite a bit more, what can you say, arcane power. So you would need to use conduit or that diamond shield with prism aura on it. But yeah, if you can manage the arcane power, this build is pretty much endless at DPS. There's no real downtime. The only problem I would say is getting multiple hits from like Wasp or maybe Arcane Sentries or an ability that could potentially one-shot you. That is a real problem because you're pretty fragile without the more defensive options. But again, this is an offensive variation of Fireflash, and I kinda just like damage over anything else in Diablo 3. Sometimes you need survival, of course, but you don't need survival for speed greater rifting, I would say, but yeah.
Not ready yet.
But as you can see, the white mobs, they take about 2 seconds to die, but then they also pretty much just die without even having the Firebird's buff going. So if there's something that's gonna like drop right in front of the white mobs, you're not going to have to like teleport back.
Need more time.
You kinda just, you know, they die and then you can loot them without wasting time turning around.
Your grave awaits. Still waiting. I'm healed.
But yeah, I really like this build so far because there's just so many variations how you can do it. Both being immortal with gold wrap and Aerius band for just, you know, your normal casual farming. If you're really lazy and you don't want to die ever, you can just wear gold wrap. But you can also get a kind of mixed build, or you can go completely offensive like I am right now. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of gear options, and I feel like I have found the highest DPS what can you say, setup now. Maybe there are some better options out there, and I would love to know your comments about that. If you believe you have a better
Not ready
setup
yet.
for Fireflash. Another thing that's also, well, it doesn't really matter that much,
Still
but if you're
waiting.
low toughness, you're always going to be proccing the, what can you say, the illusionist passive.
Help me!
Now, you see,
Need
there's a
more
problem
time.
there. I'm never going to
If
be able
only
to
you
live a
could see me
situation
now.
like that. So without my Firebird setup, I'm just going to be dying in multiple hits or really high hitting mobs.
Not ready yet.
But yeah, there's not much to do about it. High hits is just gonna kill me, and it's just going to be happening pretty much instant if I don't move really fast.
Need more time.
Also see a bit of a problem there, so I was kind of taking a few seconds to, what can you say, move around the mud there.
Not ready yet.
That just kind of costed half my life because I
If
didn't kill
only
the
they could
elite
see
packs
me
quite
now.
fast enough. And then the frozen orb procket right after, which, yeah, that was stupid. I should just have avoided that, but yeah.
Still waiting.
Anywho, you saw how fast the elite pack died there. Pretty sweet, just jumping in, you know, you proc your black hole, your Calamity stun,
Need more
and
time.
by the time the black hole is over, the elite pack is dead.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
It's pretty efficient. So now I'm actually running out of arcane power a bit
Not
there.
ready yet.
It's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, then I just loot some, you know, some globes from the elite pack and just move on. I really like Reaper's
Still
Wraps.
wait. Need more arcane power.
Oh, I'm already full of materials. Yeah, it's too bad materials are
You
so
dare
invaluable
attack
now,
me?
since you're just gonna be
Not ready
re-rolling
yet.
your items or making new weapons with materials, so you kind of have to stop up and pick up all these materials now and then.
Need more time.
That is also another really pro
I
tip.
don't have
A lot of
enough
people already
arcane
know about
power.
this, but if you haven't got a Wanderwo yet, or
The Rift
whatever
Guardian has
weapon
found
you
you.
might need, just craft it. I mean, anyone can
Still
get
waiting.
them by
Help
now.
me.
Wanderwo is not rare anymore just because you can craft the weapon now. And that just makes it so much easier to get it, a good one. Especially
ready
if you're gonna aim for a perfect one. Mine is pretty good, but again, it's not the greatest. But I think I will end it with that. Hope you found this useful. As
Still
always,
waiting.
feel free to comment if you have another variation of this build with even more DPS or some other weird variation I haven't thought about. So yeah,
Need
goodbye.
more time.